And welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another new video where today I'm going to share with you something that is happening more and more. I kind of predicted this in prior videos. Probably about 6 months ago, I told you all this was going to happen, and now it's starting to happen, and we're seeing it all over the place. Dealers are promoting upside down sales events. These are starting to come, and I'm going to go ahead and predict that every month moving forward, you're going to see more and more of these happen. You're going to see them surrounded by holidays, other events, weekends, big weekends where they're upside down events. They're going to call them other things. We'll buy your car, get you out of your trade, even if you're upside down, negative equity, no problem. You're going to see all that stuff. It's already happening, and it's funny while it's also very sad. And I'm going to share with you all the reasons why and how to avoid this and what to watch out for, because I'm telling you, this is when you can get burned. This is when you can make a life decision that you'll be paying for many, many years, and potentially it could lead to some devastating financial outcomes. But first, let me show you my beautiful Scat Pack that I have talked about many times. This is my 2023 last call swinger. Now, some of you will go out and want to buy the new 2023, which is old because the new cars are coming out in a few months that are horrible and electric. But this is the last call, and there's so many of these things out there available now, even in special editions, and you're starting to see them at MSRP and significantly below, which is a beautiful and wonderful thing when you think about it. But here's the trap. The trap is that if you paid way too much for your car in 2022 or 2021 when things were insane, it's very likely that you're upside down. You have negative equity on your car, even despite the low interest rate that you've got. And today, you are out there thinking, well, if dealers will get me out of my car, maybe I can get the last call model with that elusive last call badge mounted on a piece of plastic in your hood that you believe, hopefully you don't believe this, that will improve the value of your car. The challenge that I found, I've shared in other videos, is that these cars, some of these cars, not all of these cars, but some of them, they have a few defects. They're not as good as maybe the previous ones. Now, this is coming from a guy who's owned, I think it's been 7 or 8 of these things in the last 6 years. So whether it's a Charger or a Challenger, and I've experienced virtually no issues at all with the cars until this year, when I have had a starter bolt loose. I have a grinding that happens periodically underneath the car by the drive shaft that sounds like a tin can's lodged in there. Taken to the shop, doesn't happen anymore. We keep dealing with it. At some point, it's going to have to finally fail, and it'll likely fail at the worst possible time. But nonetheless, that's happening. And then I've got an interior challenge along with a door handle issue, which worked right now, but half the time it does not work. And I can probably duplicate it now if I see. It takes 2 times. Sometimes it doesn't even work, and I'm crawling in through the other side. Just kidding. I will get in. I will sit here and be persistent. But back to the zombies chasing me, I will definitely get eaten by them because this thing fails periodically. But nonetheless, not a big deal for me to take it to the dealer and deal with right now, but it's something I'm going to have to deal with. And then this, check this out. So I took it in for another thing, for the other issue with the starter bolt, and then I told them about this. So this is peeling up. Never happened on any other car. So listen. So all they have to do is take this thing off and maybe spray glue it back in place. There, look, it'll come out again. And they said, well, we got to order a new door, and that part's on back order. This was months and months ago. I don't expect I'm ever going to see a new door, so I'm going to have to take this off and fix it myself, which I can do really easily, I imagine. Well, maybe, because to get in between this and the door panel, that may be a challenge. So I may have to do this, I don't know, with an interior company. We'll see if I want that to be fixed. It doesn't look horrible, so it's not a big deal, but it's definitely peeled up, and that's never happened in any of my other Dodges. So definitely beware that even though you want a new 2023 in 2024, you may be getting a car that isn't as good or well built as the 2022 you've got, or the 2021, or the 2016. You may have a car that is way better built, or at least put together, than one of these brand new cars. And it's strange because I'm hearing from so many of you in the comment section when I talk about these things that are having similar issues and other issues with the build quality. Just is what it is. I don't blame all the hard workers at Brampton. I just blame the shortcuts and the high pressure and the rush to get as many of these out as they can to get them to these dealerships, so the dealerships can overprice them and sit on them for 275 days, trying to gouge us out of a massive amount of extra money when these aren't worth that much money. Anyways, let's jump in the car and have a conversation about these upside down events that are positioned to trap you and burn the daylights out of you and roast you financially. Let's jump in. All right, first I want to thank you all for all the support of all these videos this last few months. We definitely went kind of off in a tangent on this dealership exposing and roasting topics, and some people periodically will make comments like, your videos are all the same, do something new, give me something better, you know. Like, listen, this is free content. You don't have to pay for it. You have to watch an ad here and there, and most of them you could probably skip through, and I appreciate you watching it, but you don't have to watch it. Nobody has to watch it. So if this isn't your jam, I understand it. No hard feelings. Look, I get it. Go watch more OC Motivator. I'll put a link in the description, or just put in the search bar, more OC Motivator, and those videos, completely different. Completely different. I've got business ideas, financial ideas, all kinds of fun stuff. I've got day in the life, trips with the family, doing car stuff. I went on a rally recently. I videoed the whole thing. That was a lot of fun. Just random stuff that if I put it on this channel, I know I'd get beat up for it. I'm trying to keep this focused in a direction that seems to be working, because the channel's been growing a lot more lately. So if you're not happy with the stuff, I understand it. It's okay. No hard feelings. No need to get mad in the comments. We don't need to have that relationship. I'm just trying to help people. That's it. And you know what? It's helping the channel grow. And most of the people appreciate it and watch it. But if you don't, no hard feelings. Take a chill pill. Relax. Don't be so upset and hostile in the comments. Just go watch more OC Motivator, sit back, relax, and watch that stuff. Because that stuff is just fun. It's just me walking around with the wife in the house as we're still unpacking. It's nothing super serious, unless I do the business videos. Unless I do the career videos or the financial videos, which I'm putting some of that stuff there too. It's just anything I just feel like doing that would not fit in this channel and would hurt my views. I digress. Anyways, off the subject. Sorry, I had to say that stuff. Check out more OC Motivator if you don't like this stuff. But this stuff is meant to help you all. I feel like I'm giving back to the universe. As you know, I have a great career that I make a tremendously wonderful, outstanding living and support my family, and my wife's not had to work in 18 years, and my kid gets to have every dream thing. I get to spoil the living crap out of her. Despite doing that, she's an amazingly well-balanced kid with great grades, and just, I love her. She's amazing. So I do this as a challenge. I don't want to call it a hobby, because it's way more than that to me, but it's a challenge in my life to go out and do good while also building a small business that gives me some tax shelters. And I appreciate you all coming along with me for the ride. Now let's talk about this issue that's taking place that we knew was going to happen. It's just a matter of remembering how we need to maneuver around this, because the dealers now are realizing the only solution they have, they can't move. They got an oversupply of, especially the Dodge dealers, an oversupply of all these Dodge cars, all these Challengers and Chargers, SXT, Scat Packs, and even Hellcats they've got. And they can't sell them unless they drop the prices and figure out how to give you discounts. Well, that's a problem for them, because it's whittling their margins. So how can they make that back up? Well, obviously sticking you in financing and margining the interest rate, sticking you with add-ons in the finance department, and getting you to buy extended warranties and all that kind of stuff. We've talked about that infinitum. We don't need to go through that again. Just beware of that stuff. But the other way they can really, really make a bunch of money is to get you to trade your car in, because used cars used cars are better deals. Always have been a better deal. You will get a better deal on a used car, but the dealer has to buy them right. So then why would a dealer have an upside down event where they tell you they will pay off your upside down car? And why haven't they been doing that for years? Well, it wouldn't work before. And the reason it wouldn't work before is because the cars were overpriced with markups, add-ons, and all that crap. They were pushing the envelope with the banks to even get the loan on that car and forcing you all into putting bigger down payments down or choking yourself out with this gigantic loan on a car that is going to depreciate like a rock. So they couldn't give you more for your trade. So then they would tell you their car is worth so much more and it's going to go up in value. And then buy your other car, your Scat Pack, let's say, and then, which they told you was going to go up in value, and then lowball you on that one. And then they would make money in both places. Or they paid you a little bit more, but they still were making so much on this car that they were able to do it. Same thing has to happen now in a more depressed market. But how do they do that? Well, here's how. If they're going to discount their new cars, that means the bank will loan, let's say even in this economy, this market, this lending environment, let's say they'll lend 110% to somebody with good credit on that car. That covers the car, tax, and license, right? So now they have these cars at discounts, right? So $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 discounts. It's easy for them to say, we'll buy you out of your upside down car, because all they're going to do is raise the price on the other car, and you're still going to think you're getting a good deal because you're getting it at MSRP, and sometimes they're going to add in an extra $5,000 on top of it, and you're going to still think, well, that's cheaper than what they were asking for these cars. They're going to use the same tactics by telling you they're going to go up in value, it's the last one you're ever going to get, they're never going to make the Hemis again, blah, 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 blah. And hopefully you've watched my videos and you don't fall for that stuff. And they're going to tell you, okay, even though you owe, $65,000 on your Scat Pack wide body from last year, and you're paying, let's say, a 4% interest rate, they're going to offer you $55,000 on that, leaving you with a $10,000 negative. Well, if they've got $7,000 in discounts and rebates on their car, here you are coming in going, okay, I can come in with, let's say, $5,000 in down payment, and then they give you $5,000 more for this car. They put that whole $10,000 towards the negative equity and basically sell you the new car at MSRP or above MSRP if you fall for that, but at MSRP most likely, which is still $7,000 to $10,000 more than you could have bought that car otherwise. But Brad, I'm good because I'm getting an MSRP. I'm not paying a markup. You're not good, because if the new cars are going for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 under MSRP, that means that the used cars are depressed even more. And the second you drive off that lot in that now used car, that new car that becomes used, as soon as your butt hits the seat and leaves that parking lot, your car is now upside down by $10,000. Thank goodness you put the $5,000 down, but remember that $5,000, they just used that to get you back to zero, meaning that they sold you a new car at MSRP plus 10% on average, depending on where you live, let's say to cover your tax and license, or maybe they suckered you into some add-ons or something, and now you're sitting in a car thinking, well, at least I didn't pay a $50,000 markup, but you are at least $15,000 or more. Because remember, even though they came down $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 on their new car, that it becomes a used car, and you can go ahead and double that and say, as a used car, that car is now worth maybe $15,000 to $20,000 less than you paid for it, and now you have a loan likely for full MSRP or even a little bit over, and you're saying, yeah, but I got out. But here's the other big problem, which you're going to realize, is you're trading a 4% interest rate, 3% interest rate, 5% interest rate, 6% interest rate for a 9 or 10% interest rate. That is a problem. So what I'm going to implore you all to do is wait. Do not roll negative equity in. I had a guy message me and say he's $5,000 or $6,000 upside down in his Lexus, and he wants to buy a Scat Pack. And I want to be 6'5" and a billionaire. I mean, neither of those things are going to happen. Here's what you got to do. sit on your car until you can pay that thing down and wait until these prices completely fall and settle with these cars. Even to the extent that this is such an issue that the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, has on their website an entire page dedicated to trying to help people not fall for this issue, this ridiculous, I don't want to call it a scam, but it feels like a scam because you're getting financially screwed if you do this. Let me read this to you. So they talk about negative equity and they share basically the background of it and what it is. It's really simple. You owe more than your car is worth because you paid way more. Even though you got a lower interest rate, you financed it for a longer period of time, so you paid it down a lot slower. And you didn't think you were going to ever want to get rid of it, but now you've got FOMO and you want a Scat Pack and you have an RT, or you have a Scat Pack and you want a Hellcat, and now you're itching, but you're itching at a 9% interest rate market. Let's just say you take the introductory rate with Dodge and you get the 4.5%. It doesn't matter if they bury you in the car with a bunch of negative equity, but Brad, I have the cash to pay out of it. Why would you burn that cash, throw it out the window? Why would you do that? Don't do that. Don't do that. Not telling you to invest in Bitcoin, but holy crap, my Bitcoin's to the moon. It's to the moon. So I'd rather own something that's going to make me money. Not telling you go do that. It's very risky, very volatile, but I'm very happy that I left a lot of money sitting there and didn't put it in a car. It literally tripled in the last few months, even though it dipped a few days ago, and that scared me, but we're good. It's coming back. So I feel good about that. But don't waste your money on this car that you're going to roll out that money, because rather than just being negative equity, now you just burned cash. It makes no sense. Here's what the FTC says. 4 things. They say, number 1, and this is my advice to you, wait to buy another car until you have positive equity in the one you're still paying for. For example, consider paying down your loan faster by making additional principal-only payments. If you can afford the higher payment on a newer car at the higher interest rate, then why not just start making those extra payments towards your loan today? Start making those today and then wait. You got 6 months, pay an extra $1,000 a month or $500 a month. Get that loan to where you're in good shape, where you're not going to have to get buried in the car, and make sure that you can go get one of these cars, maybe used. Give me a call, make you a hot deal on a Swinger with a weird door panel and a weird door lock, and then you won't be upside down in the car. You'll be in much better shape. The second thing they said, sell your car yourself. You might get more for it than what a dealer says it's worth. Absolutely, and keep this in mind. The dealer is only going to give you enough money to get out of that car because they're going to overcharge you for the other car and roll a bunch of negative in. That's the only way that happens. That's the only way. There's no generous kind dealership out there that's paying off your car because they want an overpriced car. Used car values are what they are as well, and they're not going through the moon, despite the fact that these are very highly sought after as used cars, and they do get decent money, not enough for them to buy you out an upside down loan just out of the kindness of their heart. So don't trust them. Next, ask the dealer how they'll handle the negative equity. If you decide to go ahead with the trade-in, read the contract carefully. Make sure any and all promises, oral promises, are included. Do not sign the contract till you understand the terms and the amount of your monthly payment and what's included. So in the Foursquare, when they're doing that at the dealership, it's very intense. It's very emotional through that process, and you get tied to the outcome. You really want that car, and it's easy to get trapped into a situation where you go, okay, they're going to give me what I want, and now I'm going to get this car, and it's only going to be, $300 more a month than what I've been paying for my other car. But what they stuck you in a 9% loan that you could have got for 7% from your credit union, and they put you on a 72-month loan where you're currently at an introductory rate or something at 3 or 4%, or maybe you just got the low interest rate a few years ago and you've only got 3 years left to pay off that car, but you're upside down because you paid a markup and a whole bunch of add-ons and crap back then. So think that one through. Make sure you don't get trapped by these dealers, and remember, they may do great price on both cars, but then require that you use their financing and sell you a whole bunch of add-ons and warranties and a bunch of other crap. They're gonna make that money up no matter what. And then lastly, they said, negotiate your new loan for the shortest amount of time you can afford, especially if the negative equity is rolled into the new car loan. The longer your term, the longer it will take to reach positive equity. So basically what the FTC says here is good advice, but it throws you into a massive car payment. So if you could do a 3-year loan, since you're rolling in $5,000 or $10,000 into your new car, most certainly you will chop that loan down a lot faster. But you will be eating ramen noodles every single month every single day, every single morning for breakfast, and on the weekends, because you're having to pay this $2,000 car payment on a Scat Pack. So that's the only way to outrun it. But if you take a longer term loan to keep your payment low with worse terms, worse interest rate than what you had on your other loan, but your other loan was shorter term with lower interest rate, and you say, well, the payment's almost the same or very similar, you just stuck yourself in a 5 or 6 year loan that you'll never ever get out from underneath in a market that is not ever going to go back to where you're going to get your money back out of these cars. No matter what, you're going to be screwed. So watch out for those upside down events. Don't listen to them. Don't trust them. They're going to start mailing you postcards. They'll start emailing you. They're already doing the Facebook ads. This is how they're going to get you. Now that the new cars are softening, they have room to roll a ton of negative equity in to the new car from the old car. This is a unique circumstance that did not exist even a year ago. Today, they can roll negative equity in. Before, they couldn't, but prices were inflated even on used cars. Now you've got a challenge that your used car is upside down, new car is dropping in value, and you're going to have to put that money somewhere. And I would not, but Brad, I have the cash. I have the cash. I can just do it. Put your cash somewhere that's going to make you money. My money is working every single day. I got all kinds of George Washingtons. I think I've probably got 8 or 9 different places. I got George Washingtons out there working their asses off to bring me back extra George Washingtons. Not in a car. It's not in a car. Make sure you use your brain and don't waste your money. You deserve better than squandering your cash. Your family deserves better than squandering your cash. Be wise and don't listen to these dealers. Don't walk into an upside down event because it is the biggest trap. And mind you, they are practicing. They are practicing scripts, dialogues, strategies, how to close you in the dealership in those events. When you show up or even inquire about what that price would be for your car, they're going to sucker you with a big price, with a good price that makes you feel like you're going to get out of it, and then nail the daylights out of you 10 different ways from Sunday on the new car. I promise you this. There's no way they could just buy your car because they're an altruistic entity. And they want to help you. Just not going to happen. Sit on your car. If you're upside down, get that thing paid down. Don't put yourself in worse position. It's okay. Forgive yourself that you overpaid for the car last year and the year before. Forgive yourself. But at least you got a lower interest rate and you can get that thing paid down over time. Pay a little extra every single month if you could pay more. Get yourself back into positive equity and then come and buy these things for less money because they aren't going to be worth it. Used cars are going down in value. Just is what it is. Every mile I put in this car depreciates this car more. You could just get your hands on this thing for a fraction of what I paid for it. And that's good. That's what you should do. If you need to have a brand new one, trust me, a lot of these cars are sitting there for like 300 days. They'll be sitting there for another 300 days. The way these dealers are incubating these things like freaking chicken eggs, they're waiting for them to hatch. Like they're never gonna hatch. They're sitting there at overpriced, massively overpriced prices, and until the dealers catch on and need to clear the floor plan, you've got an opportunity to jump in and get one of those things when the dealers finally realize they need to move that metal and get some liquidity into their dealerships, and then you can be there to take advantage of it. Don't roll your negative equity in. So with that, everybody, please like, subscribe, comment, share this video with anyone you think it can help, especially a friend who overpaid on a car just a couple years ago who's itching to buy another one. Share this video with them, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.